And here we go. What up, Craig? What you doing, man? I thought you'd be playing, I thought you had to be barbecuing, drinking, or playing Xbox. Was it? Oh, PlayStation. Especially Halo, since the series just ended. Anyhow, we'll see if Pete. So we'll just hang out, see if Peace God is going to show up. I don't know if he will. What's up, Prince Johnny? Just being jazzy. Okay, what's up, Mr. Troy Steeler? What's up? Hey, Tolly, what's up, man? Trey, what's up? Hammer. What I think about Finland and Sweden joining NATO, it's going to be a problem with the Russians because they have a non-aggression pact with the Russians, a neutrality pact with the Russians. So we got to see what the Russians are going to do. What the Russians probably going to do is move their short-range nukes up to the border. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I didn't see whether Turkey allowed it to or not. I don't think there's been a vote on it yet, but they're going to apply. But we'll see how it works out. Hey, Caleb, what's going on? Leary. Oh, okay. I heard that, man. Heard that, Leary. Designate Art, what's up? Rashid, what's up? Hey, the Don Calypso. Yeah, another one. They don't read, man. I wish I could. Suggest a lot of books. Yeah, they are, but I don't. I don't. Turkey's pretty. Turkey is also in bed with the Russians, and NATO tried to screw them. So we'll have to see how they work that out. Marco Ross, what's up? Anyhow, see if Peace God shows up because he's been going back and forth, and after if they're respectful and we've gone back and forth so many times, and people move the goalposts on a subject, they can't stick to the point and go down to a narrow lane of logic because unfortunately millennials and black women have the need to be right, so they keep shifting. And all I did was ask a question. If they have a logical outline of what a patriarchy is, and whether I agree with it or not, or a black patriarchy, because they want to tell, well, in Africa we had this. I don't give a shit what is it. What is it going to look like in America, given the environment? Because you guys ain't moving to the continent. If you guys move to the continent, you can just join a patriarchy that exists, or Thailand, or Singapore, or Japan, or China, or Korea, or even Greece, where true patriarchy actually exists, or even what we call a machismo or semi patriarchy, which is down in Latin America, but you ain't moving down there. So, so people don't want to give me an outline. We'll see. We'll see. Everybody's talking about it with things. We'll see. It looks like a McRib. Well, but the thing is, McRib is only for a limited time, so I don't think they want that. I don't want that. Well, real quick, Craig, if you in the chat, what do you think about Stacey Abrams winning the Democratic primary for governor? What do you think that? What do you think about that? I have to see Top Gun. Talking about the new Top Gun. I have to see it. Talking about Maverick. That is always the question, but they seem to have an answer. I don't think the laws will change to the point where it's going to be a patriarchy. I think it's going to be. I think what most men want is more of an egalitarian society. It at least gives them a fighting chance instead of what we have now. Okay, new Top Gun Maverick. Okay, Matt, what's up? Yeah, they still arguing, man. They arguing with their heart. Peace, God. Come on, man. I know you're watching. Where you at? Where you at, man? Come on. I know. Let's get this out of the way, Peace, God. Let's get this out of the way. I didn't boot up because I that did a lot. I've been on a lot of streams lately, so I'm not really in for streams. It does, but the thing is, it's a system. It's a system that has to be built from the ground up. You just can't plug in a patriarchy. Okay, people have to be taught in that system. Yeah, basically that's what they needed. We're closer to a 50-50 because they've gone way overboard. Now it's going to take more than increased trade with Kazakhstan. Going to take a hell of a lot more than that. They're asking for a hell of a lot more than that. If they're going to, because it's going to shift the whole balance of power. It's going to put them slightly at odds with the Russians. Okay, and it's gonna really shift. It's going to halfway destabilize what was been going on with Europe for the last 50, 60 years. So for Turkey to cast that vote, they're gonna have to have one hell of a bone thrown at them. I've never seen the movie Finch. Oh, hey Malik, what's up, man? Peace, God. Where you at, man? I know you're watching. Your name's in the title. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Stop hiding. Everybody wanna run their mouth off in the comment section, but when it's time to actually talk and get it out of the way, because I don't feel like going a whole month or going back and forth in the comment section. I don't feel like typing the whole essay. And then you're gonna have another 15 questions. Let's just get it out of the way. Well, the Americans always win. Well, thing if American economics collapse and the whole, got to remember they're all tied together. If two big systems like China and America collapse, then it's going to take the whole system with them. It's going to take the whole system with them. Then it's not going to be just a American thing. Um, it's going to be a global thing because everything's still tied to the dollar, whether you like it or not. I don't think anybody can really beat the Warriors. I really don't. What's up, Doc? Peace God, man. Show up, man. We'll give Peace God another 15 minutes, man. Go ahead and ask your questions while Peace God is waiting. Is making up his mind whether he's going to show up or not. Oh, yeah, 3 million baht is a lot. No, I don't think it'll be that high. I don't think it'll ever get that high. If it gets that high, man, Uh, People start parking trucks and people start using gas, then you get a glut. I don't think it get that high. I say, depending on where you at, I think 7, 8, which is way up there. People are already stopped using fuel. No, peace guy, because he's trying to argue with me about he's trying to say that the republic was not a patriarchy because women held positions of power. I said, man, do you know what the original republic was? Buying a moped will help, but it'll help. But the thing is, it won't help with your you got to remember, people think, okay, I'll just not use petrol or ride a bike, right? But your electricity, your goods, your services, your food is all shipped by truck. Okay, all that stuff uses fuel. All those prices will go up. This is an energy society. Uh, your farm equipment, only 2 or 3% of people actually farm. Okay, they use a lot of machines. Okay, use a lot of machines. When their fuel prices go up, they got to pass the prices on to you. You guys got to see what it's connected to. What republic? The original republic is the Roman Republic. That's the original republic. It's just like the so-called original democracy was in Greece. Talking about banana republic. And he might be, which America might be a banana republic. Turn it into one really quickly. Well, that's fine. The thing is, people keep forgetting. Okay, who uses diesel? Um, all your industrial machines use diesel. Okay, all of them. Your power plants, your airplanes, your jets, your your trucks. They all use diesel. All your working equipment uses diesel. Okay, and so all the machines that make your products, stuff like that, or help make your products or move your products, or what? Your ships that bring the shit on ships to you. It's diesel. Okay, if that goes up, everything else goes up. Yeah, oh, man, Miracle Whip is 4.58. Get the fuck out of here. $5 for Miracle Whip? Get the hell out of here. Oh, trains. Well, yeah, even trains. All your working equipment uses diesel, and when their prices go up, everybody's prices go up. Some places are paying $7 for diesel, and truckers are getting ready to park their trucks. They can't afford to, you know, they pass the prices on. They pass the prices on, or they stop pulling. Anything that moves will cost. Yep. This is we're just getting started with this. Okay, we're just getting started. This whole system, that's how come you have Soros and Kissinger, man, calling, hey, you need to settle this shit because if you're not, you're gonna break this whole thing. Yep, it's mayonnaise with sugar in it. Yep. You know how black folks like sugar. Just like your sandwich spread that goes on your what? On your hamburger. Okay. Yeah, everything's gonna go up. Well, I hope not. I hope not. But these folks, man, and their dumbasses are doing a whole bunch of shit that doesn't make sense. What's up, Art? Peace, guy. Why don't you show up, man? Let me check the comment section, man. He might chicken out. He might be chickening out. He might be chickening out. Why did Russia and Ukraine win? Because the Ukraine is right on Russia's border and it's historically part of Russia, and Ukraine wants to be part of NATO. NATO is anti-Russian, and just like what would we do if the Russians and Chinese started setting up military and missiles on the border of Mexico? What will we do? What would we do? What would you think the United States would do if China and Russia start putting missiles and doing military exercises with Mexico? Yeah, nukes is part of it. Nope, I don't think so. Not the way they're acting. No, there isn't enough money. Hell, there wasn't enough money to give you the first stimulus. But don't let them stop you. Yeah, they don't. They don't. Basically, it should come with the kit with your NVMe, unless you already have one. Like most laptops already have one because so it's gonna come with your standoff and screws. But yeah, it doesn't come with it. It should come with your drive, with your SSD. But yeah, if it doesn't, then yeah, you got to buy it. Had to do the same thing. It's all being cheap. Yeah, yeah, which they're also reneging with Sweden and Norway and Finland. But that should be pretty obvious. Hell, we're going into the fourth month of this thing, so you guys should at least be kind of sort of knowledgeable about this kind of stuff. But there's a there. I don't. I would, but I might do one tomorrow. I might do a Patreon tomorrow. We'll see. Talking about this kind of stuff, in amongst the public is not popular. Let's put it that way. Yeah, but there's a whole this whole thing is a big ass proxy war for something else. It's actually provoked by NATO and the United States. Mainly by the United States. That's how come Kissinger and Soros said, "Okay, you guys getting ready to break this whole system, and it's not worth with the goals that you're trying to set out." Any other questions while we're waiting on Peace God? But Peace God, we keep asking about a patriarchy, and we, in fact, me and Green Gorilla did a whole almost 3 hours on the patriarchy, right? And what the format actually is, okay? What a patriarchy actually is, and the original patriarchy and the original public were in Rome, okay? The patricians, right? The Etruscan patricians, which means father, were actually wealthy, wealthy landowners, male landowners that came together, and they're actually bonded together, actually ruled and also administrated over the Etruscan tribes or Etruscan people, right? Which are Greeks and Romans. Okay, Rome. Rome before it was actually a patrician dominated or patriarchal patrician dominated society until the common folks we call the plebes decided they weren't getting enough love. They weren't getting enough representation, so they ran off. And the thing is, without the common people, the most like 90% of the people are plebes. They're not patrician royalty like the patriarchy were. So they ran off. They ran off into the hills, and so uh, to negotiate them back, they decided to give them uh, power, give them a voice. Okay, a voice in the rulemaking or the lawmaking body. Okay, and so that's how you got the first republic. That's how come you got a senate, which were the patricians, which is a royalty, right? Which are the original patricians, and the plebes, right, which is common house, right? The common folks, right? We what do we call it now? We call it the Congress, right? The people's house, right? The Congress is the people's house, right? So you have two parties: the rich, which is the patricians, or the Senate, and the commoners, is the Congress. Therefore, you have a republic. That's what makes a republic. Common folks have a voice, and the rich folks have a voice, and it's a representative government. It's not a direct vote like in Greece, where even though they were slaves, everybody had a direct vote. But things you can only do that in a smaller society, smaller group of people. In a large place like the Roman Empire or the Roman Republic, got to be representative. A place like the United States just has, with 13 states and everybody can't vote and all that kind of stuff. Then you have to have a representative body. A republic is basically a representative body, a voice for the people. Okay, even and that was well before everybody got the right to vote. The right, a one man, one vote, as far as a democracy, didn't come in widespread until the 1850s. Hybrid ninjas. Oh, okay, who moved? I don't know who moved. I lost track. The only functional direct democracies were pirate ships and were de facto city states. I wouldn't. I don't know about that one. You do. I mean, smaller societies do have direct votes. Smaller tribes have direct votes. They have councils, and they have direct votes of who their chief is. We're talking about a bigger society. I wonder where he is. I know he's watching. Oh, SWP. Uh, SWP ain't going nowhere, man. He's doing what he always does. He's on the fringes. He's on the fringes, but he ain't going nowhere. Everybody says they leaving, right? Everybody says they're leaving, but they don't leave. It would be nice to hear the president in a time of crisis. Actually abroad. Okay, he's actually abroad. He's in Asia, last I heard. So he's clean up hot spots abroad. Romans didn't start patriarchy. Where? Okay, Chuck Wilson. Where did the word patriarchy come from? Where did the word patriarch come from? The patriarch or patriarchy comes from the Etruscan. Okay, who's where did the word come from? Chuck. Well, you got a smart ass. What do you think this is about wanting to sell gas for rubles? I have no idea. That's gas for rubles. Actually, a reaction because they booted Russia from the banking system and took their money and seized their assets. So why would you sell gas for euros and dollars just for them to take it? Does it make sense? Where is Peace God anyway? There he is. There he is. Ta-da! There he is. He showed up. And Chuck, if you want to come up too, you're welcome. Okay, get this out of the way. There's the link for Peace God to come up because he said he had a lot of questions, man. A lot of questions. And hey, that's our American educational system, man. And sometimes you guys actually spout something. I'm like, where'd you learn all this stuff? That's what happens when you let feminists take over your educational system. Once we got here, if Ado's created, come on, man, y'all stop, man. Y'all killing me. Y'all killing me today. Y'all killing me today. What is the root word of patriarchy, Chuck? What's the root word? What's the root word? What's the root word, Chuck? You can come up. That the link's there. You can come up. You don't have to be afraid. Don't even have a whole panel attacking you, man. In fact, you know what the thing is, people prefer a, a panel of 10 people because they're not out there by themselves. Okay, they're not on the island, but just me and them, they're on an island. Dollar Washington. What language do the slaves speak? Do they speak their own language? I'm asking you. You think do slaves speak their own language? Yeah. What's the root word for patriarchy? Yeah. Nah, Chuck, bring your butt up here, man. Get out of the chat. Get out the chat. Come on up. Get out the chat. Do you think the black manager narrative has been hijacked? Yeah, probably. Probably. Anything with a good idea is always going to be hijacked. Why you got to time him out? What did he do? Peace guy, come on up, man. Stop playing. Your drive. Well, how can you type and drive? How can you wait a minute? You can type and drive, but you can't talk and drive. How's that work? Ed does it all the time. Ed does a whole 2-hour stream while he's driving. How you can type and drive and not talking and not talk and drive? Oh, you give him 5-minute countdown. Okay. What is the root word of patriarchy, Chuck? We have all these elaborate ideas and stuff like that and theories. What is the root word of patriarchy, and where does it come from? I just gave you the history of patriarchy, but go ahead. What language do what language do slaves speak? If they're slaves, what language are they going to speak? Especially if they're perpetual slaves, what language are they going to speak? Chuck, everybody wants has theories. What does it say? What did Mike Tyson says? Everybody got a plan till they get punched in the face. What's up, AB? Peace, guy. Why don't you show up, man, so we get this over with, man, instead of playing around. It's only going to take about 15 minutes instead of playing around. Don't time him out anymore. Come on up, man. Stop playing. There's the link. Stop playing. Hit the link. Come on up and stop playing. And I'm not going to beat up on you. I just want to get this argument over with because you keep giving me all. We just hell. I spent. You spent 3 or 4 years studying patriarchy, and I actually asked several PhDs about patriarchy. They're all trained in feminism. Okay, I just did a whole show with a philosophy PhD that tracks this kind of stuff, man. Patriarchy still exists. Okay, we don't have a patriarchy. Tariq, come on, man. Come on. You rather believe Tariq than look it up for yourself. Look up patriarchy in the dictionary, man, and see what the root word is. Okay, it doesn't. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. You said Tariq. Jesus Christ. Where what is the root word? What is the root word of patriarchy, sir? What's the root word of patriarchy? Patriarchy was a system practiced by whom? They have a whole history of patriarchy, right? And patriarchy it started with people with farmers, okay, with the agricultural society. Well, just say just Chuck, just say you give up. Just say you give up, okay? Just say you give up instead of guessing. Because as soon as you said Tariq, I said, oh shit, okay. It's Greek, yes, refined no man. It's Greek, patriae, right? It's actually before Greeks. Actually, Greeks and Romans are actually the same people. They're Etruscan. It's an Etruscan word for father. Patriae, rule, father rule. Okay. The Egyptians were not father rule. Egyptians and most other societies in Africa before the modern era were not father rule. Okay. The lineage was passed down through the mother. Okay. Father rule is the opposite. No, what I'm saying is he's going to Tariq like Tariq is a dictionary. Father rule is a patriarchy. It's a very so. In fact, the Greeks still practice father rule. China still practices father rule. Okay, Japan still practices father rule. So does Korea. It's called father rule. The Middle East has developed father rule. Okay, patriae. So basically, where the root word of patriarchy, just like demos, democracy, okay, is a Greek word. Okay, so you have to go from the root. So the patriarchy or father rule system comes from the Etruscans, practiced by the Greeks and practiced by the Romans. And the fact of a republic was developed by who? By the Romans. So the first republic of, if really all the republics are actually founded under what father rule? Even here in the United States, right? It was still father rule. It's still a patriarchy. When it came to the United States, they developed a republic. The French and the Americans. Okay, a republic, but it's a representative government rather than a monarchy. But it was still father rule because only a patriae, okay, rich which white landowners could vote and participate in government. The women couldn't. Okay, that didn't come to the 1850s, and for women, it didn't even come to the 1920s. But that is patient. We just went through that, and the breakdown and father rule of patriae started to breaking down after the Enlightenment period of French Enlightenment period of 1792, the French Revolution, where the rights of men and the social contract was born. Okay, that's like feminism wasn't born until the social contract. Females didn't have that kind of right. Okay, well, neither did most the common men. They didn't have that kind of right either. But since the common man was going to get it, the women wanted it too. Feminism wasn't born until the social contract. Even what we call socialism wasn't born until the social contract. Ah, well, it's. I think it's good for the NBA. I think it's good for the NBA to get different people. And the Lakers got Jenny Bus sold out, and to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. We got our championship. Okay, we got it. We got our. I think it's our 18th championship. Yeah, that's what they wanted. So now they have to rebuild. Okay, we have a lot of Laker ex-Lakers, a lot of Laker fans and Laker experts that are pissed off about it because you basically sold away all your young players to get a championship. Now you got it. Now you got nothing. You have nothing to rebuild. You got a lot of old players because you gave away all your stars, all your young stars. It's Patriarchy. Okay, let me look it up. Patriarchy. Patriarchy. Let's blow this up. Now you guys always listening to the female version of what patriarchy is, right? You always listen to the female version. A system of society where the father, eldest male, is head of the family and descent is traced through the male line. Okay. Society or community organized on patriarchal lines. Okay. Now this is the one. This is something that the feminist has to use. A system of society where men hold the power and women are largely excluded. That's a feminist. That's a feminist definition. That's new. Let's see if you can find so you can find it. The very good book is called Caesar and Christ by William Durant that talks about this, about the Roman, the Rome from the Etruscans all the way up to the fall. Okay, and the origins of the Roman Republic. And see, let's see, patriarchy root. This is, that's root from the Greeks. Medieval Latin from Greek patriarchina means ruling father. Father rule. Chief or father of the family. Father rule. That's where it comes from. Pater familias. Okay. All right. Try again. Your device is not connecting. Peace, God. Capiche. Get it? Got it? Good. Get it? Got it? Good. Reconnect. Peace, God. Your device is not connected. Star Power sells tickets. That's true. That's what they sold out for because of the contract they have with I think it's Spectrum now. It was Time Warner. So they need to sell tickets. So that's why they sold out for Star Power, and they collected a whole bunch of stars that didn't fit, and you see what the result was. Well, the thing is, they keep adjusting the definition. They keep adjusting the definition to match their rhetoric. Nope. Most of the guys are not patricians. Okay, most of the guys are feminist trained. In fact, most black men, especially heirs of black men, are egalitarian. You know, they want a 50-50 deal. They don't. Black men are not. I would say 90% of black men are not. Even though they say they're patriarchal, they're actually not. In fact, I've talked to too many of them. In fact, the ones in here arguing with me think that they're patriarchal, and they're not. Yeah, I would add you, but your device says you're not connected. Peace, God. I can't add you if your device is not connecting. Yeah, Blade Runner, you're on. Okay. I don't know, man. I think unless you guys know how come you guys were actually blocked or not blocked, but actually hidden, because I didn't hide you. So in trying to find you guys is hard. And I think one brother, I had to make him a mod because because I could not find his name. So I think there's something going on with YouTube, with the YouTube folks in the background. The black manosphere is egalitarian because black men are egalitarian. Because black men care way too much about what black women think, and patriarchs normally don't. They just go get them another woman. In fact, the white manosphere is far more concerned about laws and about policy and about the state than they are about their own women. Women are secondary. Here in the black manosphere, women are primary. Hell, we black men are concerned about how many bitches they please. That is egalitarian. That is not patriarchal. They've been relegated to their place, and we're trying to change the outlook. Okay, we're trying to change the outlook of the worldview of black men. Black men, yeah, they do love hoes. I love hoes. Well, patriarchs love hoes too. But they treat them like hoes. And white women can never get away with what black women get away with. Yeah, yeah, well, because you can't get on. All right, I'll try one more time, Peace God. But anyway, Peace God, since if you can't connect, go ahead and fire your questions, man. A lot of the stuff you said were wrong. We just the last thing you said about a republic and about a patriarchy was wrong. Okay, I just proved that one. Okay, what else you got? What other arguments you got since you're here, Chuck? If you want to get on, jump on. The space can't repivot until we change the minds of these people. Okay, of these men, because you get a set of tits and a soft voice, the guys are gonna run over there and simp. They just will. I already know it. Okay, you know it as soon as they come out. Oh, she's pretty. Okay, she's gonna get a lot of views. A lot of guys gonna run over there to hear what she got to say. Which is why I actually promoted the breakdown. Okay, but at least Sister George and Concrete Rose are fair. Okay, they will hear you out. So if you're gonna simp or you want to hear what women say, um, go over there. Right, I have a lot of subs, man. They used to that run over there to Sister George and Concrete Rose. They won't even be on my lives, but they sit there every time twice a week and show up with Sister George and Concrete Rose twice a week. What you got your camera on for, Pookie? Pookie want to show off. I'll show him for a second. No, that's not the stream about. I'll show him for a second. Go ahead, Pookie. What you want to show us? All right, all right, all right. Okay. All right. There's Pookie. There's Sir Pookie. All right. Say hello to Sir Pookie. All right. Okay. All right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Yeah, sitting in Mama's lap. Now, we're trying to uh, get black men to realize how you've been socialized and how you've been trained. Okay, you've been socialized into this. It's in you. You can't get rid of it. It's in you. Yeah, no, she's not. She's not. She's not saying anything. I don't blame her, man. I don't blame her. You got a cute face. You got big tits, and hey, you wear something tight, and you mug at the camera, and you collect your dollars. You keep rolling. And well, maybe. Well, what it Lloyd? Guess what? Okay, if I threw a rock and the rock hits you, and you feel personally attacked, guess what? I didn't aim at you. Yeah, well, we are egalitarian people, man. We're actually a matriarchal people. You can't change that just by showing videos. You're actually, built to be matriarchal. You can't change that. Yeah, he's a young Padawan, man. He just turned 20. Now Pookie's like 6'3", I think. Well, if she's fine, guess what? Guess what? That's what brings her money. Somebody said she's pulling in $2,000 a video. I ain't mad at her. That's better than most IG models pull in. So I ain't mad at her. I'm not giving her money, but they cry about patriarchy because they wanna be like white women. And white women we're actually under a patriarchy. They're not anymore, but thing is, at least they've been under patriarchy, right? Black women have not. Oh, Ado's black women have not. So black women or intersectional black women want to claim that they've been damaged by black man's patriarchy. But the thing is, when you ask them at what point did black men have a patriarchy, they can't point to it. Even in their books, they have to admit that there never has been a black male patriarchy. What they say is black men, just by being men in America, they're natural patriarchs, and they're not. Never have. The downfall of men? No, it just means that the environment has changed for the system. Patriarchy as a system, even if you look back in history, right? As a form, is only about 10 to 15,000 years old. Only about 10 to 15,000 years old. It's not that the original pattern. You're not connecting, peace guy. I don't know what device you're using. You must be are you using an iPhone? That might be the problem. Chaos, what's up? Adam, you're on.
Hey, BGS, I had a quick question. So what's your analysis on like a lot of these pro blacks who want to shame you for, hooking up with the Latina or whatnot? I wanted your thoughts on that.
Who are they protecting? They're protecting
Yeah,
black women, and
right. Facts.
pro black is a gynocracy. Okay, pro
Yeah,
black is
facts.
gynocracy, and they want to protect that. Okay, even though a lot of pro blacks they split the baby. They go get an African or Caribbean or called an Afro Latina, and don't tell you about it. They don't get
Right,
it.
right,
They don't get an ADOS. In fact, Dr. Johnson just talked about that on his last stream. So they
right,
talk
right.
they talk a game, but they talk a game in public, but then behind the scenes, guess what they do? They do a whole lot
Well,
of stuff.
it's sad, man, because I see it all over Twitter. All these men, these so-called pro-black men, and they want to shame only other men.
Hmm.
And they're hypocrites. They let the women do whatever they want, like the whole debacle with Bronny, and then Umar chimed in, and now
Hmm.
they're trying to get on Shannon Sharp's case, calling him a coon and all this
Hmm.
shit. And I'm like, they only want to criticize the men.
Yeah,
It's disgusting.
but who's subservient? Who belongs to who? If the black women don't belong to us, black men belong to them. We're subservient to them. So who are you going to shame?
I know it's a damn shame, man.
Do
Yeah.
do do white men get shamed for dating out?
Hell no, not at all. I don't see it anywhere. They hook
Who
up with Asians left and right. Yeah.
who gets shamed for dating out in the white world?
Only the women.
Only the women. So our society is reversed, which is something Moynihan said 60 years ago. Our
Facts. That's
society,
why I
our, our society's upside down.
facts. Yeah, that's why I appreciate your analysis, and your expertise, and you've lived through this. I'm only 33, but man, I see this crap. It's ass backwards for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's been that way for a long time, man. You're 33, but like I said, my grandmother, God rest her soul, man, she lived to be 95, right? She was born in 1910. She used to tell me stories. Stories aren't any different than what happens now. You know, they needed us more because on a farm, if you're in a rural area, you need a man's strength for you and your kids to survive. But outside of that, man, they were just as cantankerous and boisterous as they are now. Okay. The only thing is duty kept them together. Go back and look at um, read Nora Jill Hurston's "Their Eyes Are Watching God," or even look at the movie. Look at go look at Fences, right? Or even even what is it called? The one with Sidney Poitier was in. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. Uh, any movie you look at, man, with black folks, man, the women were never subservient. They were always, at best egalitarian. At best egalitarian. I don't care what movie you look at. The women always spoke their minds. They were always in your face. White women weren't like that. Yeah, that's Zora Neale Hurston said at the end of her movie, at the end of Why Is Watching God. She said, why are white men and black women the freest groups in America? Because they do what they want. They have freedom. Even Tariq said the same thing, right? Because that was in the 1930s. They do what they want. Black men and white women are not allowed to do what they want. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's crazy, man. Yeah, but I'm gonna jump off. I just wanted to chime in on that, get your analysis. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Peace Guy's trying to connect, but his device is not letting him connect. So Peace guy is making a good faith effort. So that's why I said go ahead and type your questions in the chat, Peace guy, because your device is not connecting. Because I can't, if it doesn't connect, I can't bring you up. So whatever it is, whatever's going on, whatever phone you're using, it's not happening. So I assume you're using an iPhone. Well, we probably can't do all that. So good, he clicked the link already, so he's there. I just can't. Let me see if I can show it real quick without too much of a blowback. See, he's there. He's right there. But the thing is, his device won't connect. So he's there. So so I can't get on him. What's up?
What's good, BGS? What's good?
Hey,
What's good? Hey, can you hear me good?
I hear you fine.
You
He said
know,
he said and use Chrome if you can't. Use Chrome.
is he trying to go for a private server to jump on the stream here?
I have no idea. He's got a stream link. God damn, Doc. Wow, you driving?
Yeah, I'm moving around a little bit.
Okay, you
You
got a lot of
answer my
noise.
question.
Okay.
I know I can hear
You want your camera on, young? You want your camera on? If not, click your camera off. You want your camera on? You don't care? All right. I'll bring you up. There you go. All right. What's up? What's up,
you.
young?
How you doing, brother?
What's up?
I was hoping to ask my question quickly because I want to be myself.
Go ahead. Ask your question, Chaos.
Same with Kay, Nicole, and this tight end white,
So what?
the tight end white, I think the white football player and this black chick.
Okay, what about him?
You know how it's amazing how the standards about this 50-50 thing, but there's
Okay.
no peep with the non-black man.
Yeah. Oh, well, you already know what that is. You don't have to have me answer that question. You know what it is. White,
Yeah,
white.
they want black men to, I guess, fly, or well,
Be,
actually, as
be,
black man walks, the white man or non-black man
be, because
flies.
you can't give them white womanhood. Okay, that's number one. Number two, she's better than you. She's born better than you. So because she can't. So you have to prove that you're worthy of her. Okay, what black woman has to prove to the white man that she's worthy of him. So that's how
Ha!
the hierarchy works.
Backwards. That's some backwards
Yeah,
shit.
well, it
You
might
be
be
so,
back. It might be
that, that
backwards.
that that's like that's bizarre world if you think
No,
about
it's not. It's
BGS.
not bizarre world, man.
And
We're
For
born in
our
it.
community,
You're born in it.
to speak to that real quick, one thing that I seen, like an observation I made was, with Kamala Harris and with Ketanji Brown Jackson, when that
Mm-hmm.
entire debacle was going on, I thought
Uh-huh.
about the idea that they like to use, if they're using interracial relationships, normally they like to use relationships where it's the white man and a black woman versus a
Mm.
black man and a white woman.
Of
And I
course.
feel like that signifies, like you said, patriarchy exists in the white world, or at least they're the ones who can enact that. So it's like she's in their pocket in a way,
It,
or like in check.
it depends on how you define. That's like when we went through this whole thing. How do you define patriarchy, right? Because if you call it a father rule in the lineage that she tracked through the father, okay,
Right.
okay, that don't the control of the children, control of the family, control of the finances is actually through the father. Father rule, right? Does that exist in the white community?
I would like to probably not now. Probably not now.
How long has it been not been?
Maybe about maybe about 50 years.
Nope. Try again.
How long has it not been that way?
Yeah. Try again. Yeah.
Huh. Uh since the women's suffrage movement?
Before that,
Oh shit.
the what they call 10 years doctrine, right? Which is the enact the Women and Infants Act. Okay, and it was 1836, and when they finally codified it into law?
1836.
1836, 1890 to the age of 7. Okay, the age of 16, 1896. In fact, I just had a story from 2017 that was going to talk about 50-50 custody, right?
Mhm.
Uh, 20 states, right? Guess what? Guess what doctrine actually mentioned? 10 years doctrine. Okay. Okay. With the core of the patriarchy is basically ownership of the children. Okay, you lost ownership of the children in 1839. So it's been a slow erosion for whatever else was out there. Okay.
Hmm.
So all you're left with is patriarchal debt. So if she divorces you or you have a kid even out of wedlock, right? Who pays?
So you
Oh,
basically you're left with the accountability, the aspect of accountability, and the
certain amount of
negative.
accountability. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just the
yeah,
negative aspects of it, but
yeah.
not what. Okay,
With none of the benefits,
right. I
zero of the
did want to
benefits.
ask. I did want to. Well, I was having a. It was something I was doing maybe a few weeks ago with the homies. I would walk around and I would ask some of the homies like, because I was hearing a lot of black male privilege, right? I've been hearing that going around a lot. So I asked some of my homies whether or not they believe that black male privilege exists, and a lot of them were saying yeah, and cited, like one of my friends cited the idea that even when we're in school, the history that we learn is very much so male dominated. And so I tried to say that, the
Where?
idea
What?
is that
What?
right,
Since
right.
when? Since when?
Black male dominated is what he was trying to say, is that we learn more about the black males in history than we
Oh,
do
okay.
about black
Oh,
females.
so he's an intersectional feminist.
Base, and that's where this idea of intersectionality, and that's another buzzword I've been hearing a lot of now lately, and when
So
these
so
words come
so
around,
so
I
so,
just
so what degree does he have? Because he went to college.
that's a good question. i should
He,
i
he
should
graduated from college, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, that's where he learned it. He's a feminist. Well, he's a trained feminist. He doesn't know it, he's a feminist, but yeah, he's a trained feminist. That's where he gets it from.
Hmm. Hmm.
He
So do
did
you do
all the
you feel like
buzzwords.
black male privilege exists in your own
I don't
opinion?
know. Really? What about you? Okay,
Oh, I definitely don't feel like black male
okay.
privilege exists,
What?
because we got into
Hold
semantics,
on,
like the
baby.
whole time. They started saying that, a privilege, for example, like it's I have a privilege of being able to walk, or the privilege of being able to speak, or the you know what I'm saying? It's like
What?
it became it started to become a conversation where it's like confusion starts to build, because it's like,
Okay.
well,
So this is a male talking?
this was a group of males,
A group of
myself
males talking?
included.
A
Yeah.
group of males. Is this on a college campus or something?
No, 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 no. Just in my house, we be trying to. I be trying to have conversations, about white supremacy, et cetera, all types of different things
Okay.
going on.
Okay. Okay. So, and what I'm saying, that's just feminist rhetoric. Okay. So, do they cite their sources since they're so educated?
No, not at all. No,
Okay.
it's not about. It's just a conversation. It's
Okay.
not like a actual political debate, or like.
So where did they get these ideas from? I mean,
It's a very good question. I think they get it from
so
popular
so
culture.
so walking around as a human being that babies do is a privilege.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, you can take the opinion of like that. Well, in that case, you'd have to therefore say that
So the
your
slave,
perspective is life is an opinion. I
so
mean, life is
slave,
a,
so
a
slaves that
privilege.
walk around and do work, they were actually privileged. Is that what
That's a great. I didn't even make that argument.
okay.
That's a great argument right there. That's a great angle right there.
So our dogs that walk around and eat are privileged.
I guess by that logic, yeah. I mean, look,
Birds are
here's
privileged.
one here's
Okay.
one argument I'm gonna say that he brought up that I thought
Okay.
was a very interesting way to have the conversation. He brought up the idea that, like, in the Middle East, in certain countries, and I have a friend who said that he visited over there, and our
Uh-huh.
perspective of the women being oppressed or whatever is completely different, because when you talk about this idea of privilege, he's saying some women don't have the privilege of being able to drive in certain
Yeah.
countries in the Middle
Yeah.
East, right?
Yeah.
And so in that sense, they're not privileged, or there's a male privilege in that sense, whatever the case is. And I'm saying, well, if the idea is that they still receive certain trade-offs, right? Because like the idea is that the male, there's certain things that they're not obligated to do as
Yeah, a
women,
lot. Yeah, yeah.
right?
They
You
they're
know,
not
so
they're not obligated to earn money or take care of themselves. They're not obligated. So even if they do work, their money is theirs.
hmm.
Okay, they're protected, right? So there is no sexual harassment, right? Um, because the reason there's no sexual harassment is because it's maximum protection for females, right? They're separated. They're they can't go anywhere without male protection. They can't be out in public without male protection, so they don't get harassed, raped, or anything like that. They're 100% protected, and which if they if feminists are not careful, they're going to go back to. They're going to go back to Islamic law.
Go back to Islamic law.
Okay, what is it?
Oh, you mean out there in the Middle East in those countries where
Yeah,
the
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. They're going to go back to
Sharia
those kind
law.
of law, Sharia law. Yeah,
Oh wow, you saying that that feminism is starting to grow out
because
there?
we're afraid of being raped. We're afraid of being approached. We're afraid of being looked at. We're afraid of being, males are oppressive. We're afraid of being attacked or dominated by males. Okay, under Sharia law, you can't be around anybody other than your relatives, unless either your relatives or your husband.
Oh wow.
Yep,
You,
they're taking it that far.
you're 100% protected and prescribed. So but the thing is that you have to, if you want to be 100% protected and looked after, then you have to give up certain rights. And Sharia law, that strict patriarchy is what it is. Okay.
Are you are you a supporter of the Save Yourself Black Man movement?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
We ain't got
Okay.
no choice now.
What would you say to brothers who like myself who are like, I'm from New York, I'm from Brooklyn, but I
Mm-hmm.
went to New Orleans last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I want me a shorty from the South, man.
Well,
I
get you
want
short. And this SYSBM doesn't mean you date out. It has nothing to do with swirling or dating out or divesting, right?
I thought
That's
it
why
meant dating out of culture though.
it means pick the best woman for you. Save yourself.
Mm,
If you want a black woman, you want an ADOS black woman, then you have to take what goes along with it. Okay. But if the black woman is not for you, pick another one.
Mhm.
Whether it's a different race, different color, whether it's domestic or foreign, right? You have the right to pick or save yourself. Nobody SYSBM, and they'll tell you out of their own mouths, right? You can pick whatever woman you want. If you want to pick a ratchet black woman from New York, okay, you can pick her. If that's what you like, pick her.
If she's on your program, you
If
can
she
pick her. Doesn't
even
matter.
if she ain't on your program, if that's what you like and that's what floats your boat and that's what you want to pick and that's what is gonna make you happy, pick her.
prioritize yourself.
Yeah. New York, you guys marry Latinas all the time. You guys fuck with Latinas all the time. What you guys talking about?
I can't even. Yeah, my first girl was Puerto Rican, but since then,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
See,
Mm-hmm.
I will say since then, I've been straight melanated and celebrated. You heard?
That's all. That's all. If you want to do that, do that. Okay. Guess how many black women are on the continent?
On the continent,
Yes.
20 million.
750 million black women on the continent. How come you can't find
Wait, which continent? This continent?
the United States? No, Africa. When I say the continent, what do I mean?
Okay. The continent. Say that. My
Yes,
fault, brother.
750 million. Guess how many black women are actually in Brazil? Got 80 million black women in Brazil.
really?
Yes.
80 million? Dang, I didn't know it was that high.
Yes. The vast majority or vast majority of Brazilians are melanated. The white ones make a very small percentage.
Interesting.
It's like 70%, 200 million people, 70% are African, but yeah, about 70, 80 million black women. If you just want you want to be melanated, in fact, the ones here in the United States are not as melanated. Okay, go. If you want that deep chocolate, got to go to the continent. We watered down.
Now, you could get dark chocolate in the
Es-
cotton.
especially in New Orleans. Okay, New
You know
Orleans
what?
is highly mixed. Okay.
You know what though, BGS. The thing is, you did say, like when you just said, you made the distinction of whether you want them to just be melanated. I guess my actual internal conflict is the idea that I would like them to still be.
That's your training. That's your training.
I want them to be on code, but then I heard you make a statement the other day when you was having this conversation
Well,
with
that's
that dude. He was
hold on,
bugging
AB.
about white supremacy. You were
Mm-hmm.
saying that it's not enough of us. Basically, like the idea is that go ahead.
Do you think your black woman really fighting white supremacy?
Yeah, that's another conversation I've been having lately. Is like I really don't think I feel like black men as of late, for as much as they say that we're in conflict with each other, are a lot more on code than I'm recognizing that black women are.
Because who are the arrows and the guns white
Right,
supremacy pointed at? Is it them or is it us?
right.
We got to deal with white supremacy, man, because we black. We got to deal with that on a daily basis, okay? In fact, if you ever traveled outside the country, man, you know the difference between being here and being elsewhere, right? Because you can feel that weight lift off your back. As soon as you hit that, get off the airport, after 30 minutes, you can feel that weight come back on you. Oh, yeah, I'm black again. I'm a
Right.
black man again. So you
I
have to deal
just
with it.
I just got out of bookings
Good.
the other
Come,
day
come,
for
come
unpaid
back on,
parking
Gigi, if you
tickets.
want to.
oh,
He might have to do something. Come back on if you want to, Gigi. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was
Where you
just saying, I just got back. I just got out of bookings the other day for unpaid parking tickets, and I was in there talking to the
oh wow.
police, like, yo, man, like, so basically, y'all are punishing poverty. Homie was like, you know what? You're not wrong. You're
No.
not wrong. You're right. We do normally, the people who have less money are normally the ones who are going to end up getting, arrested for things like this. It's not like you're a threat to society or anything, but, and I'm
It's a
just in this.
tax. It's a
Yeah,
tax. Yeah.
it's a tax.
It's a tax. Yeah.
But it's a tax where it's like I'm thinking about the fact that they can literally snatch you up off the street, and
Yes.
your time is not even valuable enough.
It's poor. It's a poor. No, it's actually a deterrent so you might be 1 out of 100 or 2 out of 100, right? But want the other 98 or 99 to get scared and pay up.
Mm,
I'm sure if all the people that owe parking tickets are not going to get snatched up out of New York and get put in locked up. They can't afford it, but it's going to scare everybody else.
mm.
Mm.
Because just blocking you. How long were you in?
I was in there for 22 hours.
Oh shit. Okay.
8 hours in the precinct, 14 hours in bookings.
Did you pay up or did they just kick you loose?
They kicked me loose. I got to do a little program or whatever the case
Yeah.
is.
In other words, they can't afford to keep you locked up. It's too expensive. It cost them
Yeah, it
200.
actually costs less to send you to college.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
crazy.
It cost them $200 a day just to hold you. Yeah. They could have put you in a hotel. It's for cheaper.
Which is one of the reasons.
That's how come they kick you loose. They ain't got the room, man. They ain't got the
Which
room
is
or the
one of the
manpower
reasons why they're not going to lock these white dudes up for
for drug. Oh hell no. Oh no.
No, there's two. No, just look at the black numbers. If they try to do it on the white, ooh, that'd be ugly.
They don't. They can't afford to lock black people up. What up, Gigi? What up, man?
What's that? What's
Bro,
happening?
That's going on, Gigi.
What up, Gigi? What up, Gigi? You
Can
shout
y'all hear
out
me
to
out
you
there
too,
in this
bro.
work?
Yeah,
Can y'all?
we got
you good.
we got you loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. I want to show these guys this shit, man. Let me
Go
share the
ahead.
screen, man.
Go ahead.
I
Go
don't know
ahead,
how
man.
to share it though. Okay, here it is,
Hit
right
the
here.
share button. I got you.
Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the end of patriarchy in terms of family life. Like men running the family. Because if you don't have control of the children, you don't have control of the family. Whoever has control of the children gets to enculturate the children according to their own preferences, their own dictates, their own tastes, their own desiderata. Okay? Look at this shit. Custody of Infants Act 1839 was initiated by a female activist by the name of Caroline Norton. She previously suffered a failed marriage to an abusive man, quote unquote abusive man, and was seeking the rights to obtain custody of the children they had together. She began handing out pamphlets, sharing her story with the public, defending a mother's natural right to her children, and eventually gaining the attention and sympathy of parliamentary members. This attention is what would come to result in the Custody of Infants Act of 1839. This act would allow mothers to petition the court for custody of their children younger than 7 and grant them the opportunity to petition for the rights of their older children. This act would prove monumental as it will serve as the starting point for women to reestablish their rights independent to that of their husbands. Then it goes on further to say, in 1873, this act would be amended for the benefit of the child. So hence you get the best interest of the child.
The best interest of the child. Yep.
Now this is common. This is in England. Okay, we're talking about common law. And American law, as you know, is based upon or undergirded by the common law tradition. Okay, so in 1873, the act would be amended for the benefit of the child rather than for the benefit of the parents. This meant that mothers could petition for custody of their children 16 and younger, but the child would be placed with the parent best fit for the child's well-being. Though chances could still be slim for a mother to gain custody, as Parliament could still rule in favor of the father, depending on the circumstances. For example, if the mother committed adultery because she had an abusive husband, the child would most likely be placed with the father, as a woman committing adultery was deemed worse than an abusive man. Now, I don't know how, this is the spin on this shit, okay? But anyway, it goes on to say, though this would eventually come to change in 1878 with the Matrimonial Causes Act. And I'm telling you, this is the cornerstone of family law in the United States at the current moment, because basically the courts grant women protection against their abusive husbands. And we already know what the whole plan and strategy of every woman is to basically claim that they've been in an abusive relationship, and then they automatically remove the man and they grant the custody of the children to the woman. So 1878, you got the Matrimonial Causes Act, and it would grant protection to the women against their abusive husbands, offering them legal separation and the custody of the children. So this is parliamentary law, common law in England, which has been transferred to the United States because the U.S. is filled with Anglos, bro. You understand what I mean? So at the end of the day, this is the end of patriarchy right there. It's over with. It's done. Now, if men, in the men's rights movement, it's going to take white men to change this shit. You're not going to be able to change it by arguing about strags, talking about how fucked up black women are, because if they're not basically willing to change the way that the law is meted out and the policy is structured, the same shit is going to ensue time and time again. There's no way out of that. You can reason with women, you can talk to them.
Like the Terminator.
but I'm like, how do you reason? How do you reason with somebody who's not your power?
That's one thing Tom was right about. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm saying like, okay, so there's a concept in philosophy called relative power equals. Okay. If you're not a relative power equal, no moral condition even exists. Like, morality doesn't obtain. So if she's got the power, fuck you. These my kids. They already know that the kids are theirs. That's why they use the possessive noun my, okay, pronoun my, or whatever the adjective, whatever the fuck it is. But the whole point is, those are my kids, mine, not your kids, my kids, not our kids. Them my kids. And that's the way they run and rolling with the shit. They know they got the preference in the law. They know they got preference in policy. So that's the patriarchy over with. It's done. And we talking about before motherfuckers was freed from slavery. 1839 was when this shit started. Okay. And we talking about by 1873, 1878, shit. The women are just them my kids. Fuck, yeah. And you get no fault divorce. Hey, it's over. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. They got everything. The trifecta. Yeah.
So it's a done deal, man. You can't. Those kids are not your kids. They are. And like BGS was saying, one thing you do got to do is you got to pay.
Yeah.
You begat a child with a woman. You had carnal knowledge of her. And she says that you the father of her children. Somebody gonna pay for the motherfucker.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be the dude doing it.
You got patriarchal responsibility without patriarchal rights.
Man, that's
what about
hold on.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, GG.
That's a cold demonstration, bro. Like, and this is one of the reasons why even white men started the men's rights activist movement. You know what I'm saying? They started the shit because they were like, wait a minute. These laws are anachronistic. You got women in the workplace working and shit, and they still want alimony. The coverture laws still obtain. Why are
Mhm.
these coverture laws still part of the common law tradition? These bitches can get out here and work. So if they can get out here and work, why the fuck do we have to sit here and pay all this money for them, alimony and shit like that? What's the point in it? And you know, it's the best interest of the child. What's in the best interest of the babies? What's good for the children? Before this time in the West, fuck the children. They didn't give a fuck about children. It's the best interest of the daddy ruling over the children and maintaining control of the household.
Yep.
This is white, bleeding heart ass, simple ass white dudes listening to a white woman cry tears and shit. And then all of a sudden they change their whole culture.
Yeah, right. Along with the Industrial Revolution, where the state wanted control of the women and children anyway, and take them out of the house.
And and the problem is, you got bureaucracies, man, who are now really actually governing family life. I mean, they're in. So the church might have been, you know, at some point in time, able to have a direct influence of what was going on in terms of norms and mores related to family life. But now you're dealing with impersonal bureaucracies run by technocrats, and this is the narrative that they hold, and this is what they're running with. And they get to control what the fuck's going on in your life. Like when you marry a woman, it ain't just you and her in a contract. It's you, her, and the fucking state you married her ass in.
Yeah, it's Leviathan.
And you gonna have like bureaucrats all over your shit. Like if she called the police or if she decides that you're being abusive, it's gonna be a cadre of white ass bitches right then and there trying to find out what the fuck's going on. And they already have been educated to believe that men want power and control. And the truth of this shit is that's projection, man. These bitches want power and control since day one. These women ain't dumb, bro. And men are so fucking stupid and because trying to uphold this chivalrous attitude. Look what they got. They got a whole bunch of motherfucking women trying to rear children, and it's cool for the girls, but it don't work for the boys. And then what does it do? It creates all kind of fucking crime, enemy, dysfunction. And this is why you got a boy crisis. Now, if they don't, but some men, I guess, would prefer this shit because it keeps other men in a non-competitive state. So why not keep the shit like this? Why not keep people in, you know, the people from the lower classes in disarray related to what they women are doing? Why not?
Yeah, that's true. Young Toussaint, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, right. First of all, the idea that it benefits those who are already benefiting to have others not be competitive makes sense. I wanted to ask, I remember hearing something about, you know, in regards to like the black family and black women specifically, how matriarchy is not something that is new. Like the gynocracy is not new, and how like there are instances of that. Like I tried to think of how that relates to like maybe the mammy caricature and things of that nature. Like, can anybody?
The mammy character comes from the in-house slave that actually suckled and took care of the white children because the mistress didn't want to. That's where the mammy character comes from. She wasn't a mother; she was a mammy. In fact, just recently, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. He's actually a sportscaster, famous sportscaster. He was actually talking about his mammy that raised him, because his mother, she was the maid, and she's the one that actually raised him. What's his name?
Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless.
Wow.
Skip Bayless was talking about his. I know I don't want to slag the woman, you know, by calling her a mammy, but she played that role for him, and he talked about how he raised her. She raised him because the mother was out working. So who took care of him, right, when he was little until a teenager was this was the housekeeper. Okay, was a black housekeeper that filled the mammy role. So that's what they're talking about as far as the mammy. That's the traditional mammy. The doc can correct me if I'm wrong.
Hey man, look, they made songs about mammy. Mammy.
How I love you. How I love you.
Mammy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, mammy is the surrogate mother. She's the motherfucking titty.
Yeah.
She's the big, soft, warm ass, black ass body that has the nurturance for the
Yes,
white boys.
for
You
the
know what I
white
mean?
boys. Yep.
And the white girls.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know,
If you look at was it the thing about the maids? What was the name of it?
the help,
Uh, the Help. Who was the confidant of the little white girl?
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it was the
black
maid.
women,
The black women. Yeah.
yeah, the black women.
Yeah. That's the mammy character.
And you know, look, all I can say is, bro, I told y'all what racism is, man. I told y'all it's primarily a form of anti-misandric aggression.
Mhm.
It's aggression against other groups of men. That's what racism or war is about. It's men against men.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, white men might not control the family, but because they have more institutional power, they run government. Okay.
Mhm.
And they also run industry. And they
Mhm.
make more money than white women. So
Mhm.
white women are always going to be dependent upon the motherfuckers, man. They make more bread than they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so and white women are not stupid, man. They understand the fucking game. I mean,
Mhm.
all they did was they knew during the first wave of feminism, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and that fucking Susan B. Anthony woman, they knew. Wait a minute, if you see your men going through a challenge, like I just put a video out there with Dr. Bobby Wright. The first thing the women do is go on the attack. If they see they men weak, they go on the attack. And they don't have to attack with physical force. They can attack with psychological psychological operations. And this is what they've done, man. There's no way that these women should be declared a fucking minority. If they were part of the colonial project, they were part of slavery, they fucking upheld Jim Crow, they helped to push the narrative of the black male brute every fucking chance they
Yeah.
got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Put a pin for a second. Let me do some housekeeping real quick. As long as NYC Songman which is our favorite intersectional feminist, is not starting fights in the chat, I'm cool with it. He can say what he wants as long as he don't start no fights. Okay, so leave him alone. He's all right. He's not gonna click the link because he's a coward, but that's okay.
And look, and motherfuckers, look, I've studied intersectional feminism. I
Mhm.
know the person who coined the fucking phrase, okay, is Kimberly Crenshaw. She wrote Mapping the Margins, okay?
Mhm.
And so, motherfuckers know about intersectionality through blog pieces and shit like that. They're not actually reading the literature. Like
Yeah.
I've read most of the feminist literature. I've taken graduate seminars. I've taken feminist epistemology, which is the study of how you obtain knowledge and information. I've taken feminist theory and feminist politics. So I read this shit from James Mainsbridge. She's one of the first motherfucking feminists in the Western world, that bears the moniker feminist. I've read this shit all the way up to the third and the fourth wave feminists. Brittany Coopers and the Crenshaws, the Dotsons. I've read the Catherine McKinnons, the Andrea Dworkins, the Gloria Steinems, the Betty Friedens. I read all this shit, bro. Like motherfuckers be talking about shit that they ain't never read. That's the shit that fucks me up, man. And you got a group of young motherfuckers, man, that've been proselytized to, and they think if you talk about oppression and domination and institutional oppression and shit like that, motherfuckers can't even tell you make reference to the people who coined those phrases and go deep and probe deep into how these concepts became part of the culture. You can't fucking tell you.
Oh yeah, I had to pay Green Gorilla to actually dig all this stuff up. There was no feminism before the social contract.
And look, this shit ain't got nothing to do with motherfuckers feeling a certain way. It's just got to do with the truth about what this shit is. And here's my problem with feminism in general. You got a whole bunch of claims that are basically moral claims, and they're based on narratives and women's experiences, and that's just basically phenomenology. I don't have a problem with phenomenology at all. It's a sound philosophical method. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm a naturalist. So I believe that you have to temper philosophy. You have to measure it against other forms of inquiry. You got to measure it against scientific inquiry, whether it be hard sciences like physics, chemistry, and biology, or also social science, which uses the methodology of the hard sciences in order to obtain information. It's called falsification. And the point is, fucking feminism is not a falsificationist area of inquiry. All they engage in is moral intuitionism and fucking Marxian politics for the most part. And all you got to do is read Karl Popper, man. You cannot fucking falsify Marxism. It can't be falsified because it's a self-contained system where everything is explained in reference to its own theorization. And that's the weakness of it. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that there's no truth evinced at all in Marxist thinking, but here's the key. Marx was writing about economics, man. He wasn't writing about gender relationships and shit. He was writing about fucking economics at a time when there were no unions, there was no OSHA, none of that shit. You had little kids working in factories and shit like that, little boys and girls. Okay. But we live in a different day and age. The oppression concept, this shit ain't working for me, especially if I'm a black man. So you know, the whole point about fucking intersectional feminism to me is, at the time that it was written, it's an apology for two things. It's an apology for distribution and retribution of men. So it's not a policy that attends to any accountability or responsibility for fucking dysfunction in the context of the home, because the narrative is that the men are the ones who are the problem related to sexual assault and domestic violence.
And domestic violence, amongst other things.
But if you look at the social science for the past 50 to 60 years on domestic violence, it demonstrates clearly. Do I have to pull that fucking thing up? Okay, do I have to pull up Fiverr? There are over 200, well, actually 300 studies, which I think conclusively demonstrates that women are just as likely to initiate acts of violence with their intimate partners than men. But we still have this narrative put forth and spun by these women, and one of the women primarily responsible for this whole, you know, this whole policy that we have called the Duluth model of domestic violence. Her name is Ellen Pence, and she worked with some motherfucker in Utah named Michael Payman. And you can read the fucking article, man, where she just basically explains we made this shit up.
They made it up.
And she said that she was operating under implicit bias. This is before she died. She's deceased now. So I ain't gonna throw salt on no deceased person name. But at least she tried to clean the shit up. Even like a person like Michelle Wallace tried to clean the shit up when she wrote the Black Macho. And the, you know what I mean, the Macho and the Superwoman, whatever. They tried to clean some of the shit that they you know, the distortions that they made up or that they were responsible for. But everybody just goes back to the initial arguments and they don't look at what the, you know, the cleanup is. They don't even try to, because the narrative has power in and of itself. As far as
in conjunction with the state, because the state allowed it. The state actually promoted and allowed it, and that's what the Title IX and Title X was about.
And so look, I dare any motherfucker from the manosphere to say that they know more about feminism than I do.
You're not gonna get no bets, man.
I dare any motherfucker. I don't care who they are. I dare one of these young motherfuckers that, you know, went to school, you know, and graduated in 2020 or 2018, one of these undergraduate motherfuckers to say that they know more about feminism than I do. I've taught feminism in African American studies programs and in philosophy courses. I've taught the shit. So, I mean, if you're going to come to me and tell me what this shit is about, I've looked at it. To me, intersectionality is nothing but a Me Too argument.
It is,
And it's basically saying, look, we get overlooked as it pertains to domestic violence, and we're also ignored because we're Black, okay? And so when we call the police, there's a different kind of reaction than it is for white women related to domestic violence. We need to be paid the same amount of attention because we got a deeper problem. Our men are more brutal.
Now, let me ask you this, Gigi. If white women were never allowed to have affirmative action, do you think intersectional feminists would actually have arisen?
Not really, no, because there wouldn't have been a pretext for it to arise. Okay. So if but maybe it could have to some extent. But here's the deal, right? My argument against intersectional feminists is this. You got to point the finger that you're pointing at Black men back at yourselves. If you look at the contemporary social scientific data, if it's the case that women are just as violent as men in the context of intimate partner relationships, then you can't use that shit as a means by which to say that you need extra kinds of protection. Because this is what this is what Tommy Curry's work is really actually all about. Okay, it's about saying, look, most of the discourses that you have about Black men are rooted in racial social science And we know who the thinkers are who basically ushered this kind of thinking into the discourse. Go read the fucking man out. Stop just skimming through the shit and looking at videos and go actually read the goddamn book. Now, if you need for me to take you chapter through chapter, I'll do that. Okay? But goddamn, man, I'm gonna do it behind closed. I'm gonna do it on Patreon, or do it on member status on YouTube. Now, I'm down to do that. But goddamn, man, like, do y'all skim through this shit or y'all actually looking at it?
They don't read it at all. Skimming ain't got nothing to do with it. Don't blame it on skimming. They don't read it at all.
So my whole thing is, look, have black women had a hard lot in America? Absolutely. But if you understand that, like, when you have war or you have like any kind of suppression of a population of persons, who are going to be, which demographic is going to be perceived as the most threatening to the prevailing, hierarchical structure of that society? It's going to be men. Okay, nobody's worried about motherfucking women twerking in front of them. The police are looking at a whole bunch of women shake their asses in front of them in protest. So what? They're gonna look away because out of shame or something like that, because they have a natural, kind of respect for their own women, and they're going to extend that, to other groups of women by default. But the point is, who the fuck is afraid of women, man? Like, I mean, if you run it, if you run the culture in the society, what the fuck are you afraid of them for? You're not going to be afraid to outgroup women. You're going to try to, when J. Edgar Hoover was doing the suppression he was doing of the black community, who the fuck was he going after? He was going after black men. He wasn't going after black women. He was going after Martin Luther King Jr. He was going after Malcolm X. He was going after the Black Panther Party and the men most specifically. He wasn't worried about the women.
No.
Okay.
Most of the women that were actually part of the Black Panther Party never were attacked or went to jail.
And peep game. This is why I read, the brother who wrote the pamphlet. His name is eluding me right now. David Walker, the Walker's Appeal. Okay, David Walker's Appeal, where he detailed a scenario, a real life scenario, in which it demonstrates clearly the difference the way men were treated who were slaves and women. So the men were shackled and chained. The women were able to walk freely and openly with the children.
With the children, yeah.
Now, what's the reason for this? Because the threat is not going to come from the women. Like if a woman tries to attack you, I mean, but see, that could be an Achilles heel, but not these motherfuckers because they ain't got no revolutionary spirit.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
And the women knew their place. Even the black female slaves knew their place. They never started a revolt. Go, somebody trying to get in?
Yeah. Let me get into Green Girl. Shout out to the panel, everyone. Here's what I have to say. It is obvious here that a lot of the movements we've seen in social change, economic changes,
and slow down a little bit so we can understand you.
The social changes we have experienced, right, really for the past couple of hundred years, is largely tied to the fact of the environmental changes, the economic changes, and the fact that they intersect with the interests of the state. But here's the issue I have, right, with Green Gorilla, right? Upon knowing all of this information, which I appreciate, how are you going to address the fact, and I've asked before, that as of right now, right, it is in the state's interest to essentially maintain the environment the way it is right now, unless something radical changes. Because you don't have any control over the children. You have no real control over the women, and they have no incentive to follow you whatsoever. So unless you're ready to use violence and force, you're supposedly the doctor of the state. So what's the way out, Gorilla? That's my question.
Man, I told you motherfuckers already what you want to do. Either you're going to accept the way that the shit is, either you're going to try to link up with people who are trying to change policy to make it at least somewhat to gain parity, or either you're going to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's just that simple, dude. Either you're going to sit there and take it and go and roll with it and be a motherfucking target. And this is why I read to y'all that book, The Anatomy of Female Power, at least a certain sections of it, from the African guy, Chinwezu. He said there's 3 types of dudes out here. You got machos, and you got a lot of macho motherfuckers in the manosphere who want to be like these alpha niggas and act like they running shit. But if you ain't got the law and the policy on your side, what the fuck can you do? You really can't do shit.
Well, see, you're the problem for bringing that up.
Yeah, hold on here. Let me finish your thought, and then
Raining on their parade.
Like, I'll let that one go. And then
hold on. Did you finish your thought, Gigi?
No, look, I'm doing description here. This is not normative. Like, we could talk about what we ought to be doing, okay? But I'm just right now trying to, when I tell you about Chinwezu, I'm being descriptive, okay? So he says there's three types of guys. You got machos, who are basically patriarchal guys, but they're nest slaves. If you look at the shit, because basically they go out and they work and bust their asses, and they have a woman at home who's nesting and basically barking off how the fuck she wants shit to be within the confines of that domicile. Okay. Then you got mushos, who are basically men who we call simps, who basically believe, you know, like whatever women say about how the world is, and you know, interpret reality the way women do, without even having any gall or fucking testosterone or nuts at all. They basically a penis. He calls them penis twisted pram pushers. Okay, and that's like pushing
Sound
baby
like some
carriages and
ARC
shit.
Go ahead.
And lastly, he says you have masculineness, and he's like, look, it's okay, you know what I'm saying, for women to have some sort of, you know, freedom and liberty, but God damn it, we got to have liberty for men as well. And right now, we don't have it. So masculinists are looking out for the self-interest of men and looking for parity, okay, in relation to family law and a whole bunch of other shit. But most men don't want to, because most men are machos. They feel like they run shit, but in actuality, they got a woman's hand stuck so far up their ass like puppets, and men go out and try to prove and demonstrate that I got this, baby. I'm running this. I'm willing to sacrifice and do everything for you. Okay.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because I've never read that book, and I don't know that person you're talking about. But what I've said is that the problem with black men is ego and guilt. And so the simps operate from guilt. The dudes you said are machos operate from ego. And I've always said those are like the psychological, like trick bags that black men are either socialized into, and women know how to press those buttons, and they know what buttons to press per person. You know what I'm saying? Which person. So they can identify, you know, which dude is which. Because obviously the machos are going to typically be the dudes that are generally in that select category. So these are the niggas always trying to tell other motherfuckers that you need to be on their fucking level. Like they really running that bitch. Even, you know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. So it's interesting because a lot of these ideas, and it just shows you that these ideas, people are on the same page that are on the same page. So when I hear people ask like, "What's the solution?" Because that's pretty much what I heard when Hammer said it. Like, "What's the solution?" It's like
Hold on.
You know, the real solution, but no, you're not wrong. The straight arrow solution is really violence. But we know niggas are not going to jail, and I'm not going to jail.
You don't need violence. All you need is you can actually politically change this if you really want to stick together. Most people want to nest in it, like Gigi was saying.
Well, that's absolutely true too, and that's why when people ask why do we say the same shit over and over again, or why do we bring this shit up, it's not us saying it over and over again. We're trying to build like an awareness to it, so we can get the dudes that agree with the masculine position, you know, at least to come together. But what you see is those machos and those muchos are like 90% of the motherfuckers.
Even though we say it over and over and over again, guess what? Black men aren't doing. They're not learning, so they're still doing the same.
Exactly, because really it's that culture thing that he just described. They're really in those other categories, and really, if you say, well, what are we doing then? What we're doing is building awareness and find as many masculines as possible.
What you're trying to do, what Gigi do, you know, and I don't want to speak for him because he's the doctor, right? What he's trying to do is deconstruct this stuff and say, look, okay, what you believe is not what it is, right? This is how this system is built. This is what it looks like. These are the people that built it. So now you can decide for yourself. You can sit in it if you want to. The thing is, his job is to show you what this stuff actually is in reality. That's what his job is. That's what he's doing. Okay.
Well, you know how that works. I mean,
the thing is,
just talk to E Black and all of them.
E Black is full of shit, and that's why I call him full of shit. Go ahead, Gigi, and then the Hammer's going to get in. Go ahead, Gigi.
Okay, so look. My problem with the macho motherfuckers and the nationalists are some macho motherfuckers. They want to be like, I'm the nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fucking New Orleans bounce on. You know, like these motherfuckers tough. Like, bro, At the end of the day, man, these guys, man, believe that they actually are alphas, man. Like, cut it out, man. Like the alpha guys are getting taken to the fucking ringer, man. Like, I mean, if Michael Jordan can get taken for the ringer, Dr. Dre can get taken through the ringer. If fucking Tiger Woods can get taken through the ringer and have his fucking white bitch chasing him with a golf club, and he runs into a fucking a pole outside his house and fucking ends up got to go to the hospital. If you can get divorced and get taken to the ringer and she sitting with the kids and your ass sitting there looking like a goddamn fool, if you Will Smith, ain't no more motherfuckers in the manosphere more alpha than that dude, man. At the end of the day, I mean, in terms of so-called making money and being successful in the corporate or the entertainment world, you can't match that. That ain't gonna get you the fucking respect because the policies and the laws and the traditions favor women. It's just that fucking simple. Now, if you want to change the shit, you can start to actually become masculinist in your thinking. Now, the mushos are a whole bunch of motherfuckers that just believe whatever women tell them, like, because they sit at the altar of the uterus.
Yeah, that's also some of the most of the nationalists too.
Well, they're like Vestal fucking virgins, but they're men. It's like they forever hold the flame of the God woman, you know, like, and at the end of the day, man, I think men and women are human beings. Okay. And I think it's a tragedy that like women have this ownership of children now. It might have been a tragedy for them when men had the ownership of children. You know, it might have been something that they, you know, had an aversion to. But at the current moment, man, the system is set up in such a way that men are required to do some shit that's impossible to do. You can't fucking actually be the head of a household when the woman is using policy and law to obstruct you. And if the bitch get mad for any fucking reason, she can pull those levers. The boys is coming out, the social workers is coming out, the fucking attorneys are coming out, and they're going to try to obstruct as much as they possibly can. So the only thing I can tell you, if you're a masculinist and if you want to be vigilant, first of all, start looking at the truth about how all this shit came to pass, and then work. First of all, the manosphere to me is a consciousness raising space if it ain't filled with a whole bunch of jive ass turkey motherfuckers. The machos are jive turkeys to me as well as the simps. Okay. They all jive turkeys to me. Okay. Because at the end of the day, either you're a nest slave, either you're worshiping at the altar of womanhood, or you're saying, look, we all human beings and we all have an interest and have an influence over our fucking progeny. Okay? Because when men aren't involved in the raising of children and the monitoring and the development of their character, you see what the fuck happens. You get YNW Melly and Young Thugs and shit like that. Okay? This is what happens. And BGS proved this shit. He demonstrated it, I thought, rather convincingly, even in the animal kingdom. Like if you got a whole bunch of fucking young male, adolescent, or prepubescent elephants running fucking wild in the goddamn jungle, they're gonna be fucking doing shit they ain't got no business doing. All you gotta do is take 3 or 4 fucking elder males, put them in the environment, watch that behavior change. The same shit in the school system. Put black men in the fucking public school system.
But they're doing it on purpose.
Well, the women are, but Hammer, you wanted to get in?
Yeah, look, I'll give my response and I'll hop off, and I will respond to my show later on because obviously
you got to speak clearly. I know you have a accent. You got to speak clearly and slower. We can understand.
Right.
Okay.
Your mic's kind of murky.
It is murky, but saying is one thing. He's not ADO, and two, he's a IT guy, so he's speaking fast. Okay, it's not code, so speak a little slower than you enunciate. Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me now? Just
that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll speak slowly. I'm sorry. The issues that we have now are directly tied with the fact that we live in a post-industrial society, right? You guys already know my background, right? I'm from West Africa, Cameroon. You know, West Africa, those areas are still agricultural. So half those issues don't even exist. So fundamentally, unless the solution, a way to deal with the fact that, you know, the way industrialization affects, you know, day-to-day interaction between people is going to make it damn possible for you to sort of facilitate a traditional situation. I'm like, there is no real way to really go back.
No, you can't go back, right? You just like patriarchy is an adaptation to your environment, right? Okay, you have to make an adaptation to the environment now. Okay.
all people are looking for is a social
That
contract.
most, oh, sorry. The problem is that, let's keep it real, BGS. The reason why blacks are in this space is because what they want is a return to some kind of a semblance of a traditional societal structure. That's what.
No,
That's the
they don't.
reason.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Because what was traditional still didn't work for us. So
And
it's
some of
bullshit.
them dudes don't even know what that looks like, to
Yeah,
be
they don't.
honest with you.
They don't.
So my thing is, so I just want, I know you said you're gonna leave, so I'm gonna let you get it out. I don't want you.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I get all that, but
the thing is, what we have. That's why we're in this space. So I can tell you exactly what this shit was. You go back and read it. It never was that way. But a lot of guys in this space are actually going by an ideal of what they think it was like back
yeah,
in back in the
and I
40s, 30s, 40s, 50s. It was never that way. Okay. So it's you. So
even if
going.
it is
And
an
it be
idea,
So going back. So going back to Jim Crow is not going to solve your goddamn problem. Okay. It's not. The thing. What you need to do is find a way to find a new family formation, right? What most guys really want is if women and Gigi said it, right? Okay, if you're going to take away patriarchal benefits, you got to take away patriarchal responsibilities along with it. In other words, don't have guys
I,
paying child. Hold on. Don't have guys paying child support, paying alimony, all the other kind of bullshit you got to pay if you don't have any kind of rights or any kind of fairness in the judicial system. Right now, you don't. That's what the whole 10 years doctrine was about, right? You don't have fairness in the judicial system. So black men, they have never had control of their children, right? So you never had a patriarchy. So all this stuff that you think you're going to go back to, it never existed. You get that?
yeah, I understand that in regards to the idea with context, right? But what I'm
Mm.
saying is the reason why they point to other societies like, for Africa, because that's what they want, right? Even if that never happened within their own sort of, in-group history, what they want is what they see in other societies, right? Especially African societies. And what I'm
Yeah,
saying is
not
that's
yeah.
what's gonna happen.
They do not really. They don't, because they really they don't even know. You're from the continent, right? Most guys have never
Yeah,
been there. They don't know how that
yeah,
society
yeah,
works.
exactly. Like if anything, they looking more at what them Latin motherfuckers have,
Yeah, they don't.
and them
They
Latin
don't.
motherfuckers are
They,
post industrial too.
And then the thing is post-industrial, that means that you have to have a different family formation. That's what it means.
yeah,
So there are solutions, just not you can't go back to a different the same solution in a different environment. It's not going to work. So there are solutions. They're already working on them
okay.
right now. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Yeah,
let me just say
and
this.
then
Let me
Go ahead.
interject really quickly. Okay, so take for example Roman society. Okay, Roman society was agricultural based to some degree, but I mean, let's just face it. Fucking Roman culture wasn't some fucking goddamn backwater agricultural culture. It just wasn't. Okay, it was a fucking major civilization, and there was industry and fucking people everywhere. Okay,
Mhm.
and you still had patriarchy. Okay, so even though you have like this post-industrial kind of culture, it doesn't mean that there can't be any patriarchy. Yeah, family structures are going to change to some degree, but the changing of family structures, we're going to talk about this Monday, BGS. I think it's
Okay.
important. Okay,
Yes, it is.
I don't.
Hold on.
even but in Roman culture, you had an emperor, didn't you? The
Yes.
emperor was the
Yeah,
boss of the whole fucking goddamn culture. Like if
Yeah,
that motherfucker
Hold
said,
on.
if he said jump, nigga, you gonna say how high? I don't give a fuck if you was from goddamn Africa, if you was from Greece, if you was from goddamn Sicily or wherever the fucking case may be. You was a damn a German Visigoth, an Ostrogoth, or a Dane. Okay, all of those people were in Rome. Okay, but you had a fucking emperor, and he had a divine right to rule. Okay, now when white men began to question the whole concept of divine right to rule, because you had one boss, the boss was the male. Okay, that was the prototype for familial structures. But when white men basically said that kings don't have a divine right to rule, they began to change the basic structure of the way people basically associated with each other in general. Okay, so then the concept of negative rights became the thing. And women hopped on this concept of negative rights and utilized it in order to argue for their own freedom apart from men. Bottom line. And so this is the issue that we're facing right now.
like
And,
Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah,
well, the problem is people get hung up. Okay, so here's the thing.
And
Black
we're
men,
going to go another 30 minutes because arts are I don't want to
Okay,
cut into too much art time.
black men are not looking like this. Most black men don't even. If you really ask them to describe patriarchy, really describe it. I remember when BGS asked if a black woman was saying, "What is your program?" They're gonna do whatever you say. All them niggas was silent, and I need to get that clip. The crickets were the only ones talking. When he said it, and that tells you everything you need to know. What dudes are looking for is a fair deal. Now they may call it patriarchy, but that's what they're looking for. Right now, as it stands, we don't really have it. So I'm talking about social contract amongst black people as far as what's supposed to happen. What you have is the women can do whatever the fuck they want, and then the dudes are too fucking stupid.
At best, Edo's culture had was an egalitarian society. Okay, at best.
Yeah, so the problem is, and look, I fuck with Hammer, but damn, like dudes are always taking what they know from the continent and they're like applying that.
He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it, man. He's
I know he don't know, but I'm just calling that out. I'm not calling it out as a bad thing, but saying that that's an observation. So when I hear Gigi going into all of this detailed stuff where really that matters, but like what he's looking at is like wrong, even to the point where it doesn't even qualify for you to go through all of that. I know you're trying to get him to understand, but the vector he's looking at is completely bent. Once I understood what he was saying, I'm like, all dudes are looking for is a fair social contract. Just like when black men were doing the stepdaddy thing in bigger numbers, you understood what it was. You were gonna get 2 kids. You might get a better looking chick than you otherwise might have got if she was childless, or she was doing everything she was supposed to do. If she was fat, she knew how to cook, not because she fat eating fast food, and she was gonna do all that other stuff good because like there was certain things
you're gonna get maximum cooperation.
Exactly. There's certain things you could expect. It's like if you want a point guard, you generally know if they're good, they know how to pass, they know how to shoot, their IQ. There's certain things you know you're gonna get. And if they can't shoot, like Rondo, then they making it up in the other shit really, really good. So what we have now is like what we have now, and y'all have already talked about this, is really the women are just
shorting it up, Ed.
The women are on some absolute anarchy shit, and what the dudes are trying to do is make up for that by doing some shit that dudes don't do. Are not like it's this fucking we need to just be superhuman and super duper do everything, and it's like, dude, at what point are you gonna push back on the rope or let the fucking rope go? And I'll say this and then I'm done, because I need 15 more seconds. The perfect example of that is this idea of all black men really got to do is check the fuck out and start dating other races. The admixture's already happening. But what do you have? Even somebody like Bronny James, they're looking at these dudes at young ages because they want to control you, because they understand if you do that, that'll correct a lot of this shit. If the best dudes genetically, economically just start taking the better deals, they'd have to correct.
The only power black women have is power over black men. That's all.
Yep, they're sexual. They're and I'm gonna do a video.
No, it's not even sexual. It's basically monetarily, legally, sexually, the whole thing. All that stuff is in the hands of black women.
Yeah, so you got to walk away. So one of the options is to walk away from the table. I know SYSBM doesn't like to be used that way, but the point is
they don't have, once an idea is out, they don't have any rights over it.
Well, a libertarian dating market, and this is the one thing black people focus on more than anything else, is that because they understand if dudes check out like that, they have no leverage on shit. Because you don't got to deal with it.
All right.
I'm done. I said
okay. Go ahead. Yeah, you did. I wanted people to get in because we're trying not to cut into too much of our time. The only reason we're still here is because the Gigi's here. So, but go ahead,
I'll leave, man.
No. That's all right. No, you.
Well, he already cut it off for 30 minutes. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, I said that's at 30 minutes. Yeah, so because we're cutting into.
Is accurate to a degree, and you're 100%, and basically that type of woman that Ed was talking about, she should just die at 283. Once those talk shows started coming on, BGS, it was curtain. It was curtain, real talk.
Yeah, it was actually it was already baked into the cake well before that, right? Because Dr. Johnson just sent me this guy called I forget what his name is, man, but he's an intersectional feminist, and he wants me to do a response to him. So I got to work on that. But and he's saying a lot of the same crap, man. So this stuff has been baked in the cake for a long time. You know, because he's saying that Monahan scissors was false. Okay, it keeps coming up, man. You know, they keep what they want you to do is they want black men to go back to sleep and accept the status quo and stay in place, because without black men or control over black men, black women don't have any power. They don't.
And what's crazy to me is, okay, and I know, look, I know I talk a lot, right?
No. Hey, Gigi, don't apologize, right? You're the teacher. Don't apologize. Keep talking.
Look, you can say that Moynihan, the interpretation of Moynihan scissors was incorrect, but you can't say that the fucking data is incorrect. Either motherfuckers get married or they're not.
Yes.
Either certain group of people are making more money, or and they've been interpolated into the workforce, and they're less unemployed or they're not. Now you can say that we interpreted the data wrong, but Moynihan scissors is data.
Yes.
Now his interpretation could be fucked up. You can say that, but you can't say that the data in and of itself is fucked up.
He gave no interpretation of what it was about. That's what the whole paper was about, trying to understand what the data was. In fact, he didn't even use his own interpretation. He uses black scholars' interpretation. So from Clark, and Fraser. That's where he got it. Most of the interpretation came from them, not from him. But go ahead.
So the puzzle was to him. The conundrum was, okay, you would think if black men are making more money, you're gonna start to see more black women get married, and more. You think you're gonna see more marriages of black men and women,
and less welfare. Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
So it didn't happen.
And so the question was, why? And then you got that one woman that, like, Dr. Johnson just recently showed on his show, and she was talking to a little girl in the 8th grade, the girl was like, okay, well, I want to have 2 kids, and I don't want to get married though. And so the woman was like, well, why don't you want to get married? She was like, well, I don't want to get married because if I do, it's gonna fuck up my welfare.
Your child support,
It's gonna fuck up my child support.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is baked in, like you said, it's baked into the culture. Because people pattern their behavior after what they see.
Yeah.
Okay. If they see their mamas doing some shit, they're gonna do it. Okay. Yeah. And they could think it's wrong what their mothers did, think it's fucked up. But if their mothers did it and all they know is what they've seen, that's what they're gonna do.
We keep showing that Bill Moyers thing was from that chick in 85, 86. Said basically the same thing. Same thing. Almost 40 years later, the same thing.
So I'm trying to say, like, Clutch and Sticks say I'm wrong, but I'm trying to figure out, like, what am I saying is wrong? You know what I'm saying?
Clutch and Sticks and get his ass up here, just like
I'm trying to determine, like, what it is that I'm saying is wrong. The women are not getting married because we have a culture that's basically telling women that marriage in and of itself is an oppressive institution.
Y'all Negroes, stop being scared. Okay, stop being scared. You in the chat. You're in the chat. We can see you. Okay, you want your question answered? Get your.
No, he said I'm saying I'm right, but like he's saying I'm right.
Right.
But like, but my whole point is, I think Ed is right about this here. I do have a tendency to get, like, over analytical, but I can't help that. That's just
we don't. Okay, if we have to go in front of lawmakers and feminists and educators and stuff like that, we can't come in with the same street rhetoric that we've been coming in, right? Because it gets us nowhere. Okay,
this is true.
It gets us nowhere. If we're going to elevate and go to the next level, to the policy level, we can't come in talk about bitches ain't shit. Okay.
That shit ain't gonna work. It's
not gonna work. So the whole reason for this endeavor is ultimately to get the policies changed. You can't do that unless you learn the terminology. Okay, so that's why the PhDs are here teaching the rhetoric and the terminology to use when you go in front of these people, right? Otherwise, you're gonna get buzzed. You're gonna get run over by these intersectional feminists and their talking points. Okay, you don't understand it.
And so, my whole thing is, look, to be perfectly honest, what black men in the manosphere ought to be doing, like, just straight up and down, they ought to be worried about domestic violence policy, right? They ought to be worried about family court systems, that basically say that, women have the child's best interest at heart. So giving them to them automatically is going to, lead to some sort of betterment for the child. we already know that shit ain't working. That's an empirical argument where it's a moral argument.
And black men need to reclaim their affirmative action rights that you fought for 60 years and got taken from you. You need to reclaim that.
Yeah, we ought to be doing that because white women basically hijacked the shit. And black women are just riding like race car drivers behind white women, catching the drift.
Drafted.
And why wouldn't they? I mean, I'm just saying, like, if it's the case that people work in their self-interest, why not do that? If it gives them some, modicum of power and control, why wouldn't they do this? But the question is, and this is a question for black women over the long run, what the fuck do you want for your children? Like, I'm even hearing black women now talk about how, they should abort their own black sons. You know what I'm saying? Like, what type of crazy shit is this? Like, and they invest all this time. Even men are investing energy and effort into their girls, and they're telling their boys, like Shaq did, they got to fucking make it out of the mud. They got to get it out of the mud. White men don't do that shit to their sons. It's the dumbest shit in the world. Like, you got white boys, man, who are being, like, mentored in their fucking 30s, down there to their 40s. Okay? Yep. In order to make them the kind of men that their fathers were. Now, sometimes they fail and they fuck up and they go astray. But shit, like the prodigal son, sometimes they fucking clean their act up and come on back home. Like, you think the singer not George W., but George, the singer.
The singer.
That motherfucker was the head of the CIA, was he not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, George Bush, yeah.
Right. Then his goddamn son became the president of the United States just like he did.
Yeah.
He didn't say you got to get it out of the fucking mud. It's you on your own.
Yeah.
No. He joined the same secret societies his daddy did.
Yeah.
He got plugged into the same networks as his daddy. So all this shit about we got to figure it out by the time we 18 is the dumbest shit in the world. And white women don't say to their sons, fuck you. Not with any degree of seriousness, and expect to maintain hegemony in the world, because they know as soon as the white men become weak, it's all over with. It's done. And then everything that they're afraid of will come to pass. So, like, they're not going to work cross purposes from their men. Like I told motherfuckers before, I've taken all these feminist courses. The graduate school that I went to, okay, the head of the fucking women in gender studies program had her own husband in that motherfucker working as a masculinist scholar. So what the fuck is that telling you? I had a woman who, basically works at the university that I recently worked at. She basically was like the head of the department. And she was like, my husband don't go to work. He takes care of the kid. But when I come home, I give him the fucking paycheck.
Yep.
A Latino woman.
Yep.
Okay. So all this, and she teaches and promotes feminism. And then I was like, I scratched my head. I was like, this shit ain't computing. It's like all these other groups of people got the shit figured out, but except for Negroes who left in a fucking stupor because, they riding fucking the uterus of fucking Sojourner Truth and our woman. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how fucking retarded we've become. And I ain't trying to,
become retarded we always were. Curry showed how far back this goes.
Man, I'm just, right now I got to get off and do something.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Instead of thinking about this fucked up shit.
Hey, so it's the Labor Day weekend, man. So you got something special, kind of celebrational herb?
No herbs, man.
No herb? Okay.
No, I don't fuck with the herbs, man.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I used to fuck with the herb. I used to buy herb by the pound. Like
I'm gonna smoke that for you, GG. I'm smoking some meat right now.
So what you cooking, or you got something on the grill?
Yeah, man, we gonna make some motherfucking jerk chicken. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna eat some good ass barbecue, man, and some Mexican food.
Yes, sir,
too,
brother.
Man,
yes, sir.
I'm smoking some of this Texas sausages, man.
Yeah. Anyway, final questions for Gigi, and then we're gonna transition over to Art of Itmore's Coliseum. So, final question for Gigi, if you guys want to get it in.
Green Grill, are you aware that a white woman wrote a book about how to Me Too somebody? You heard about this?
I have not heard about that.
You didn't heard about? Oh shit!
Destroy All Men Now. Yeah, that book's been out for like 3-4 years.
No, not Destroy All Men. There's a book called Me Too.
Oh, okay.
I'll find it. I'll post a link.
Okay.
But I mean,
I'm not surprised.
Ever since this fucking Carolyn Norton women have been using that as a means by which to get their fucking way. And all they know they got to do is use tears and shit like that. All they got to do is cry and talk about how they were abused. And then you got a whole bunch of motherfucking mushos who are going to and even machos though, because machos will be the first people to stand up like, don't you hurt her. Like this bitch could be going out fucking stabbing and murdering everybody. And they'll come to protect this bitch. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but if the police come up against one of the motherfuckers, he'll knock her ass out and they'll be like, yeah, send her in jail. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, I mean, you know, it fucks me up, man. Like, I just don't understand, man. Like, but I do understand it in the context of American culture, man. You know, and it's like, I showed a video, man, of some woman in McDonald's, man. This woman was fucking slapping shit all across the counters and shit, acting like a fucking savage, and she calls the police while she's doing this shit. The entitlement. Hey man,
on the camera.
Yeah.
And see that this until men say, "Hey, look, baby, the shit you doing, you're gonna get punished like a nigga." You say you want all this equality, you can't just have equality of distribution and not have equality of retribution. And that's the problem. Men don't know how to punish women. Not in this fucking culture. They don't know how to do it.
No, it's been disallowed, especially since the 1970s.
We don't know how to punish women.
No,
at all.
No, they're a protected class.
So, and if you're gonna have equality of distribution, you got to have equality of retribution. If you're gonna have social and political equality, I don't want a motherfucker trying to put the gloves on, talking to women like, "Well, I can't say this to her." Fuck that shit. If this bitch is the leader of the free world, she gonna get scrutinized just like any man would. That's the way I feel about it. Like, they really don't want what they don't want what the fuck they're asking for real. They still want you to use chivalry and to treat them nicely and shit and don't fuck with their emotions. But at the same time, they want control and power.
What's your name? Phyllis Schlafly's kind of feminism. You know, all the benefits and none of the responsibilities.
Man, fuck all that bullshit. We're too far going to go back.
Okay.
That's the world in their minds. That's all that is.
Yeah. Young Toussaint, you got a last question for Gigi before we let him go?
Gigi, how do you feel about black male privilege?
I think it's absolute. I think it's absolute, utter nonsensical bullshit, and it's been bullshit from the beginning. Look, black men don't run the political institutions. They don't run educational or the social institutions. They don't run nothing. Okay, the only thing that black men and the intersectional feminists understand this as well. The only thing they got on black men is the idea that black men are brutalizers. That's it. That's it. Or they might have this whole concept of, well, you know, men were like present in the fucking civil rights movement. You had leadership there. They're the leader of the churches and all of this shit. You'll hear that, you know, like they covered more, you know, heavily in sports, you know. But look, you want to call that male privilege? Women need to create their own worlds and do their own shit and then generate excellence within their own domains.
Yeah, you guys, we got 300 people, 350 people watching. You guys hit that link, okay, right there. Go over and subscribe to Dr. Gigi, okay? Subscribe
make that happen, man.
Make that happen. And also he's got lo-fi music, hip hop music playing. So go here and listen to that, but subscribe to the man, right?
Okay. Yeah, and calm down. You know, like I know I get agitated, but like that's why I gotta listen to that lo-fi shit. It'll calm your nerves, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we get to talking with each other, and it's a whole bunch of, you know, negative emotions. You got to purge yourself of that shit, man. Do some catharsis, release that shit. You know what I'm saying? So we don't release it. We just keep coming back and back and back and back, and then we don't have a plan. Like the brother from the motherland was talking about, what do we do? Yeah. My whole thing is, first we got a consciousness raised, but after we raise the consciousness, now it's time to start writing papers, trying to rechange or reshape policy. And it's starting to happen in some states, you know, where they're like, okay, we're gonna automatically give 50-50 custody to the daddy and the mama.
Yeah.
That's a start. You know what I'm saying? At least that's a start. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out of here, man. Y'all be
all right.
peaceful.
Well, okay, real quick. Clutch and stick. You got one
Safety,
last
GG.
question for BGG?
No, you hear me okay, bro?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, man, I'm not disagreeing with you fellas at all. Listen,
Okay.
it's obvious to me that you guys been doing the work. I mean, it's not just eyeballs, right? You guys
Yeah.
have been studying on it. This is your and in many cases when we're talking about Dr. Johnson, Green Gorilla, right? I mean, these brothers are professionals at this. I mean, it behooves all the rest of us to listen, right? That's all. I just wanted to throw that in there real quick.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
for
Yeah.
sure, man. Peace to
Kudos.
you, man.
Kudos.
All I heard was you put a big fat wrong up. I was like,
Nah,
damn, what am I saying is wrong? You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
But
nah,
agree,
I
bro.
mean, I'm a human being. Sometimes I do err, and sometimes I don't have the right interpretation. And sometimes I
brother,
need for brothers to check me. You know what I'm saying? So it is what
you
it
were
is.
absolutely right. I can only go by eyeballs, but speaking for myself, like I mean, I ain't even trying to brag or nothing, but I'm single, I got my own house, I bought it by myself, put myself through college, bam, the whole deal, right? Like that's equipment room I work in every day on telecommunications equipment behind me. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Ain't no way I'm gonna sign up to let a woman just run me now. Dog, I'm gonna end up in a van by the river, just like y'all saying.
hey, the quickest route to depression for a black man
Mm-hmm.
is to have a fucking child and a woman who's a fucking tyrant. A Cersei
Bro,
Lannister, just supposed to be part of his fucking team, supposed to be out of his rib, the way we think, and basically all she trying to do is put her fucking hand up your ass and make you into a puppet.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Hey, y'all. So how do I step off so y'all can get back to it?
No, we're getting ready to close out. So I thought you had a
Oh,
question, but Gigi's getting ready to go eat his jerk chicken and his what else you got,
and
Gigi?
Well, pork roast right now, you know what I'm saying? A little quiche and shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Oh,
about to eat, man.
you
Fuck it.
got a feast going on, man.
Yeah, about to
Chicken
eat, man.
eating good,
All right.
brother.
I held it longer because Gigi's in. I want to hear him spit.
Great Grill, I did put in the
Go ahead.
back chat of the
Yeah,
app.
I posted it. I posted the link into the chat for you. So
It's no longer available on Amazon.
yeah,
Surprisingly.
well, it is. That's been around for a while. Destroy DAMN. So
Well,
it's been around
has
for
it
a
been
while.
around then
Yeah,
since
it's been around for
2018?
3-4 years. Yeah.
Oh, so it came out at the same time Me Too came out. Okay.
Yeah,
Me Too was actually well before that. Me Too's been around since actually Me Too's really been around since the 80s. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
the
but
thing
it's
is,
not. It was not much effective
it got
until
popular after the Dear
Come
Colleague
on,
letter in 2011.
but this
Actually, I did a whole video on it.
but this is the
On my
last thing I want to leave with, man. Like for
Go
real
ahead,
though.
Gigi.
Okay, so I'm the type of guy, man. I think holistically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a problem with identity politics the way it currently is manifested in this country. I think it's going too far.
Mm-hmm.
But I think black men have to have a reaction or a response to it, because if we don't start to think in our own self-interest,
Mm-hmm.
like if you think that being a man is just looking out for everybody else except for yourself and not having any connection to other men, then you're a goddamn fool. If you think that like the association of your society and your culture should just be with your little families and shit like that,
Mm-hmm.
like your own kids, that's not how society works, man. You can't win wars like that. You can't establish political institutions like that. I mean, that's just not how it's traditionally done. So, but at the end of the day, all I want to leave you with is like some ancient Greek philosophy. These motherfuckers, they had a patriarchal society, the Athenians. And basically, I'm talking about the philosopher Plato. He basically said, you have to have a society where everybody's fulfilling their own job and doing their own thing. And not only that, if there's fucking disease in one part of the society, it's going to spread throughout the entirety of it. So we have in our community, you got a group of people who think that they're magical and that the niggas that they got ain't shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that's the way you're thinking and that's the way you feel, the entire community, it ain't gonna take very long for the entire community to be a piece of shit. And that's the absolute truth, because if there's disease in any part of the body and you let it continue to fester for too long, it's gonna begin to infect the entire body.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you think that a culture is analogous to a body, okay, and the integrity of it, keep letting black men be fucked up, and see how long it takes for the whole fucking goddamn culture to devolve into a fucking cesspool. And that's what we're actually seeing right now. But go ahead and keep saying you're magical and saying fuck your daddy, fuck your brother, fuck your sons, and fuck your husband. Well, I ain't even got no husband, so fuck. I can do it on my own. Keep doing the shit and keep seeing what the results will be.
Yep.
So I'm out of here, man.
All right, Gigi, appreciate you. Okay.
You know.
All right, folks. We're getting ready to close out. If you want to continue the conversation, I put the link to Art of It More at the Coliseum is in the chat. Go over there because I'm getting ready to close out. Cut into a lot of his time right now. So go over there. If you can't stay, at least give a like, a view, and then bounce. Okay. Go over there and thank him for allowing us to cut into his time. Well, with that, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.